HR is important because business growth is highly dependent on people. Ultimately, every company is profit driven. We provide strategies. We look at personality, motivation, aspiration, and their culture. So are you keen to do that?
Hi everyone, welcome to Asia Business Owner Podcast, ABOS for short. With the changing economy, especially after pandemic, do you ever wonder why business lifespan is getting shorter? Do you ever wonder what causes it? Are you one of the business owners who are in the midst trying to figure a way out? Or are you intending to start your own business venture believing that everything will work out but somehow you feel something is missing? Or do you want to start a business however, you do not know what to go for? If you have all these questions on the list that I mentioned earlier, or many more that I have not mentioned, then we are here to fill the gap.
Hi, I'm Ben.
And I'm Joe. Please subscribe to this channel so that you will not miss any of the episodes moving forward. Today, we are very excited to have Ryan, a founder of Kairos HR Solutions, a HR consulting firm helping companies with HR processes, improving employee performance, retention, job redesign, and many more. For all the business owners out there, I'm going to get it out of the way. There are grants available. So Ryan is also currently writing a book on HR best practices and HR ISO certification. So without further ado, Ryan, please give us a short introduction before we dive into the questions.
Hi everyone, I'm Ryan. Like what Joe mentioned, I'm the founder of Kairos HR Solutions. So we advise clients on HR strategies and how to grow their businesses. So we help them to implement HR strategies like talent management. Okay, we help them to identify how best to hire people. Okay, what to look out for. So in order for them to grow their businesses. Thanks, Joe.
All
And
right.
thanks, Ben.
All right, great. So I'm just going to go straight into the point. Why is HR important?
Yeah. Okay. So HR is important because business growth is highly dependent on people. No matter how automated your processes are, okay, you will still need people. Okay. Strategy can look good on paper, but execution depends on whether your people are capable, align with the business goals, and how best they are managed. Okay. From a Singapore context, HR also protects the business. If you get the legislation wrong, okay, you don't just face turnover, you face compliance risks, disputes, reputational damage, and productivity loss. Okay, but ultimately, beyond compliance, a strong HR helps a company to scale. It puts structure around hiring, performance, leadership, and development. Okay, so that the organization can grow without internal chaos. Okay, so lastly, HR is not just about payroll or recruitment. HR has moved beyond that. Okay, strategic HR is the function that turns manpower into performance and ultimately the results from performance. Yep.
So just now, before we start recording, you said that you need to later go for a HR dispute kind of a thing. Can you share a little bit more on that?
Oh, okay. So recently, I have helped quite a number of companies on disputes. Yeah. So these disputes generally come from their company's practices, legacy practices. So some companies do not have HR for many years. Okay. Their HR practices is based on their own knowledge, is their own limited knowledge. Okay. But legislation changes every now and then. So when their legislations, when their practices are not aligned with the current law, okay, and some employees may take advantage. Some employees may want to claim unnecessary damages, which may not be warranted.
And typically,
Yeah.
what are the common type of disputes? It's like so the
I think
employee
Joe,
Yeah.
I think before we go into that, I think why not Ryan,
you share with us, like, aside from recruitment role, what other role that HR include? Because that will actually help the audience to understand more. Because when we were asked about the dispute that you're settling kind of thing, it's like, hey, how come HR got to involve in all this? So probably you might want to want to share with us what other role HR in matter of fact involved.
Okay, so my company is not an employment agency. Okay, we don't do recruitment. Yeah, so we advise clients on HR strategies. Okay, how to restructure their company to grow to the next level. That's what we do. We implement strategies for clients. We don't do recruitment. Yeah, HR
Okay.
is more than that.
So HR is a wide spectrum, right? So from attraction to retention to performance to L&D to culture, so on and so
Compensation
forth,
and
right?
benefits. Yeah.
Com
Yes.
and
Yes.
Ben, right? Yeah. So actually, in your opinion, right, which function is the most important function?
I would say performance. How you evaluate performance. Okay, why? Because
And why is that so? Yeah.
yeah, because ultimately every company is profit driven. Am I right? Yeah. So they would definitely want to look at performance. But how do you achieve the company goals set every year? You will have to align your people to drive towards that goal the company has set. Mm.
Okay. So
Okay.
what are the things that most business owners they do not know about HR?
Well, okay, this is more like a legacy issue. When maybe 20, 30 years ago, HR is only about administrative work, payroll, and recruitment. Yeah. So, but like I said earlier, HR has moved beyond that to a strategic business function. Mm. So we help company to scale. Okay. We help them to develop strategies, okay, for them to for the companies to manage their employees. Like example, just now I shared talent management. Okay, how we are because HR is the gatekeeper. Okay, what do we look out for to hire people with potential so that we can develop strategies to help such people, such talents, to grow to the company's future general.
So correct
Mm.
me if I'm wrong, Ryan. Your HR company is more like a role of administrative manager as well as human resource as well. Am I right to say that?
It's a HR consulting company. So we help companies to implement strategies for them to scale up.
Okay, let's dive into detail more on that. Implemented strategy in terms of internal or external in terms of sales revenue.
Internal. Internal.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Would you like to share with
Okay.
us study more about like what kind of strategy usually you will recommend to company? Just a brief one.
Example, like I said earlier, talent management. Okay. So we usually advise client companies to set goals every year. Okay. After that, the goals would cascade down to every department, every HOD, okay, to develop their own goals to support the company goals. Okay. After you have the department goal, it will then further cascaded down to every individual in the department or in every team in the department. That's why you have KPIs for every role. That's for example, the bigger companies like MNCs, they they would evaluate the KPIs of every employee. That's how you come about. So firstly, the top management must have business goals or company goals they will want to achieve for the next year, for the next year.
Okay, talking about talent,
So this is the first thing that I
I
would
realized
usually
that a
advise
lot,
clients on.
right? So there's something that I
Mm,
realized that a lot of companies are saying this that
yeah.
it's always very tough to get talent these days, lah. Right? And personally, I was sharing and asking a couple of owners that come forward to our podcast. Well, we did mention that the talent are trained, not recruit. So You recruit anyone which you think that it can fit your company, then you train them to become the industrial talent. Do you agree on that?
Okay, training is one thing, but
Mm.
firstly, okay, training is one thing, but we will also need to look at their potential. Whether do new hires or whether do the candidates have the capacity to grow to the next level.
But
Yeah, so for talent,
you won't know until
wrong.
until
So
the company when the candidate join the company, right?
we
And
should
you also
know.
have to give it some time, right? Yeah.
So usually we assess at the recruitment stage. So I have for my own framework, I have assessments to evaluate candidates' personality, motivation, or aspiration, or their work culture. Yeah. So this is to find out the candidate's potential.
So it's a self-assessment tool kind of a thing. So even before the candidate join the company, you already know all the profile.
Yeah, we should administer such assessments.
Interesting.
This is how we identify talents for their potential. Yeah.
And then
When they are
that
in
is
the
one of the
company,
strategy.
yeah, so when they are in the company, we will evaluate their performance. Okay. So for talent management, there is a nine-box grid. Do you think I can share the screen or should I not? So I
I think
cannot
you
hear
can
you. Sorry.
give a second.
Yeah.
I think Joe is trying to allow you to share screen.
Yes, give me a
Oh,
second
okay.
while
Maybe, okay.
Okay, go ahead, man.
Okay, let me share my screen. Mm, let me show you what the nine-box grid is about for talent management. Yeah. Uh, okay. So this is the nine-box grid of talent management. Okay. Every company will every company will want employees in the green boxes. Okay. For example, let's talk about future leader. Okay. You want such people to have high potential and they can perform well. So they are future leaders. Okay. Same for growth and high impact. Okay. Next, the yellow boxes. So in every battle, let's say you fight a war, okay, you have generals, you have foot soldiers, okay. So that's where the yellow boxes are. They are the foot soldiers, yeah, of the company, so they can perform. They may not have very high potential, but at the very least, they can perform. They can execute. Okay. Next, for dilemma and effective. Okay. You can devise strategies to train them to the next level, to the yellow boxes. Okay. Lastly, for underperformer, okay, so this they are with very low potential, but they cannot perform. So usually we will try the companies will try their best to train them to be better. If not, uh, they will they will be exited. So that's how we identify talent through the nine box grid.
But won't
Oh,
it take some time for you to realize whether they are potential or not, especially based on the grid?
of course. So for potential, so we do that, okay, at the recruitment stage. Okay. Every few years, it's recommended every 2, 3 years to evaluate their performance. So their potential. Okay. But for performance, we should evaluate every year. So when you have data, okay, on potential and performance, you will know where they lie, where they are at.
Is there any particular reason why a lot of company, especially SME, are struggling at HR role these days?
Okay. SMEs usually fight fire every day. Yeah, am I right? So the HR in the SMEs are usually operational. They usually manage the operations, the day-to-day ops. They usually handle the grievances or they will administer administrative tasks. Such talent management strategy, SMEs usually will not implement, but they should. Okay, all MNCs will definitely implement such strategies because, like I said earlier, it's meant for companies to grow. So that is why I would like to help SMEs, okay, to implement such strategies.
So when you help SME build strategies, do they like maybe hire you as a fractional CHRO kind of thing, or how does it work?
Yep. Yeah, I can be their consultant, or they are like what you mentioned earlier, the director or the manager. Mm.
Okay. Now
Mm.
let's go. Is there any other slide you want to show us, Ryan?
No, for now.
Okay, so let's come back to the screen. Now, there's something that I'm very curious about, is that I realized that there are shortage of HR role these days. Why is that so?
Process of HR. Okay.
Hmm.
What? Okay. Process of HR. Why do you think? Okay, from my point of view, okay, I think firstly HR is not it's not a role that people will think is appealing. Okay. Some people, most employees perceive HR as the bad guy in the company. Okay.
Oh, why is
Yeah.
that so?
Yeah. So because we will have to administer the company's policies. So sometimes we have to tell employees, oh, you cannot do this, you cannot do that. Or when say the hiring manager wants to terminate someone, okay, HR will be involved. HR will serve the termination letter. Yeah. So so because of these things, employees perceive HR as the bad guy. Okay, for example, so when I was the HR manager of a company, okay, most of my colleagues were afraid to go into my office when I call them
Is it either for
because
the good or the
they think that
bad?
you they are so some employee some of my colleagues would tell me, hey, am I being terminated? When I call them, when I make a phone call to them to ask them to my office. Yeah. So that's why HR roles are usually not that appealing. Maybe that's the
Okay.
reason why. Yeah.
Okay, now we know that there's shortage of HR role these days. With the Skill Future grant to support HR courses, do you think that you were able to resolve the challenges company are facing?
I think firstly the management will have to recognize that HR is meant to help the companies to grow. Yeah. If if the general perception of HR can be seen as as a professional like an accountant, okay, then yes, then it can look appealing to to candidates. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. Now, let's say okay, if there's more HR executive or manager available after the course kind of thing, right? Being trained by our Skill Future grant. And do you think that it will be a competition to or increase competition to Kairos HR?
No. So no, I don't think so. Because firstly, SMEs which hire HR will usually have to handle the operational matters on the ground. Okay. For Kairos HR Solutions, we provide strategies. So that's another layer on top of what the HR managers usually would do. Generally, HR managers don't really implement strategies for SMEs for their companies. So we are doing two separate things.
I think based on what you have said, right? It's basically I don't know if I'm wrong or correct. Okay, so HR actually there are two main components per se. So the first component is basically operational in nature. It's like a cost center. Whereas there's another part, which I think you focus more in, is more on the
Strategies.
strategies, more as a revenue center. Is that right?
I would maybe so. As a core, yeah, revenue center, maybe. Because ultimately the strategies would help the companies to move to a direction for them to expand, to scale up.
Now, that's very interesting because we realize that SME especially, all right, as a business owner, probably they will have to wear multiple hats. And
Mm.
if HR is part of the important role for retention and growth for the company, why aren't company or business owner focus on HR?
Because they focus on HR. Because because the general perception of HR is that HR only handles payroll and recruitment. I believe that's the real problem. Business owners,
Misinterpretation.
yeah, business owners perceive HR as that. I mean, the only thing that they are doing or they are good at uh, is payroll and recruitment.
Right. So in the matter of fact is that HR in the matter of fact also acquired a certain level of leadership. Is that so?
Yes, because we will have to, okay, for example, the HR business partner, okay, will have to understand what the business unit is doing, right? So after understanding what the business unit is doing, only then we can then propose strategies for them to grow. Like for example, we will then be able to understand, okay, what the business unit want to what are they looking for in candidates when they're hiring.
But the question is this, people do not know what they do not know. So how are you able to lead them into understanding like, what kind of category of candidate is suitable for them?
Okay, so for myself, usually I will have to communicate more often, frequently with the for example, the hiring manager or the business unit owner. Yeah. So in order to find out what they are looking for in the roles in the roles which are available.
Okay, we were talking to many business owners also to understand that in this era, we are at a crossroad of multiple generations that work in one organizations. Does that affect the planning for HR when it comes to a multi-generation that working in a group?
Sorry, can you rephrase that?
Okay, as we are right now in a multi-generation, we talk about like baby boomer, Gen X, Gen Y, millennium, and so on, that actually working in one organization or company. So does that affect the HR planning where you have to face a multiple generation that working in just one environment?
I would think so because
Mhm.
every generation has their own way of doing things.
Mhm.
Okay, so okay, while HR managers administer the policies, we will also have to understand the employees as well. Yeah, so we are managing the management and also the employees. Yeah, so we have to know every group of how things are done in their own way.
Well, that's
Uh,
not easy.
That's definitely not easy. HR wears multiple hats. We are the unofficial lawyer. We are the unofficial nanny as well, or babysitter. Yeah. So we have to understand the laws. We have to understand the employee. We have to understand the management as well. Mm.
I'm actually very curious. What is the most ridiculous HR matters that you have come across in the course of your work? Most
Okay.
ridiculous thing.
Most ridiculous. Maybe okay. So when I talk to owners, okay, they think they can when they say, for example, in employment contract, okay, for example, let's talk about notice period, okay. Notice period works both ways, okay. If either party terminate the agreement, okay, one will have to serve the notice, right? So if the notice period is one month, for example, okay, either party will have to serve that period, okay. But some SME business owners would think that, oh, when say the employees terminate, he or she will serve one month. However, if the company terminates the employee, I can give you 2 weeks. It doesn't work that way at all. So, like I said earlier, notice period works both ways. It's a double-edged sword. Yeah. So you cannot reduce the notice period in your own favor. Yeah. That's something that I think most SMEs business owners do not understand. So they have written that down in the employment contract. Because if the matter goes to for example, ETT, Employment Claim Tribunal, okay, the court can void the agreement. Yeah.
Okay. So that same goes for a unfair treatment or opportunity in the company that also go under HR responsibility.
Yeah, yes. Generally, yes.
Interesting. There's this thing that I'm always very curious about when you are in the position of HR, looking at HR point of view to help this company to grow. Usually, will you looking into the experience that come along that you propose for this candidate to be grow or groom to the next level of manager, or do you base on certification, academic certification?
Okay, certificate. To me, I don't think education is important. It's not that important. What
Mhm.
matters to me most, okay, would be attitude, experience, network, and competencies. Okay, right now, Singapore government is pushing for skill-based or pushing for skills to recognize skills as an important criteria in in people.
Would that also mean that polytechnic graduate will have a more better chance of getting a job?
Well, that really depends on like so earlier I mentioned we look at personality, motivation, aspiration, and their culture for potential. So in short, we look at this and also the skills that they have.
Okay, so there's this saying, hire for attitude, train for
Mm,
skills. Do you agree with that?
definitely, definitely. Your attitude must be right in the first place.
So attitude first or skills first?
Okay, so that depends on the role. Say say if the role if it's a junior role, okay, I do not require the candidates to have experience, then yes, attitude will come first.
Now
People
this is
must be willing to learn and
now
adapt.
this is very interesting. I would say no. This is very interesting kind of concept. Now we are right now in a dilemma or era where we have a lot of mixed generation, and we also realize that the senior generation probably have the experience, but however, the younger generation have the creative that a lot of companies are also probably looking towards for. And at the same time, they have quite a good attitude where sometimes they can actually learn very fast as compared to the senior generation. So in that case, how do you actually balance off, the opportunity for the company if you're looking into like, okay, this one got a talent, this one got the experience, and probably this new role in this company that we need to promote someone else, right? Then who will you give the priority to?
Okay, for let's talk about promotion first.
Mm.
Okay, so for promotion, okay, we look at people who can perform, okay, or people who can be developed to the next level. Yeah. So again, it falls back to the nine box script. Okay, people who have the potential, the required potential, okay, and people who can perform well will generally be shortlisted for promotion. You cannot select people who cannot perform, right? To be the next general, or to be the next manager.
Okay, which means that the opportunity given whoever to that position depends on the job
Potential and
requirement.
performance. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
So,
performance. Yeah.
mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
say for the past year, okay, he or she has been performing well. Okay, he or she has been showing the results or exceed the expectations from his or her manager. Yeah. So for such people, they are they are usually shortlisted, okay, to be developed to the next level.
Okay. You lead me to another question that I want to ask. If company A right now, probably they are in let me see, a property industry, for example, right? Right now they are looking into another field that they want to grow. So would they choose people based on experience, or would they choose people based on talent to venture into the new industry?
Okay.
Based on whatever they have a performance, let's say their performance is on par. So would it be based on experience, or would it be based on creativity?
I will also okay. I think I will also look at, okay, whether could such would the shortlisted or employees be keen to to be to be in the new industry, to be in the new market. So on top of performance, okay, I will also talk to them, okay, whether do they want to venture into the new market, because it may make or break their career. Okay, but if one is prepared to do so, okay, then maybe, okay, that person may be suitable to go
Also, you're
into the
talking
new
about
market.
the how big the appetite the individual are having.
Yeah. Or maybe if they are keen to do so, if they're keen to venture into the new market.
Okay, okay. So which means that if they have the mindset that okay, and the confidence that the probably they can start in a new market, then you will give that candidate the opportunity to do
Mm,
that. Correct? Because they have the
yeah, yeah.
passion, they have the fire within them. So it's something like you will find a way no matter what just to make it work. Is it something like
Okay.
that?
So for example, if this say this business development manager,
Mm.
okay, has all along been doing well for the Singapore market. Okay. But the company, so for the company for next year wants to venture into Malaysia, for example, yeah. Okay. So as business owner, I will then talk to the business development manager, the BD manager. Okay. Hey, are you keen to explore? We as a company we want to explore Malaysia. So are you keen to do that? So if we say task you to develop the, okay, we will also be, as a company, we will also be looking at your network as well. We will also be asking whether are you confident to do that, to venture into Malaysia.
You know, this is something that I want to know because this is some next question that actually come across my mind, which is that let's say the candidate that you selected, yeah, okay, you think this guy is good, but he asked for X amount of salary packages as probably like
Mm.
a two times more than what he is having right now. Would you still recommend this particular candidate? Because probably that may not be the company goal of paying so much for this candidate just to open or being the pioneer of this new market.
Ultimately, it's up to the company's budget. Say
Mhm.
when the company advertise, okay, the company by right, okay, should have budgeted something for this role. Right. After evaluating uh the market, okay, we should the company should have the budget for that role. So if the candidate asks for something which fits the budget, then sure, go ahead. If the candidate ticks all the right boxes,
Okay, okay. So would that be like a internal promotion as a priority, or would it be like employment to open market if there are new
okay.
opportunity within the company?
Ultimately, the company will select the best candidate, right?
Mhm.
I would encourage companies to look internally first.
Mhm.
Yeah. So if someone internally, okay, fits all the requirements, okay, for that role, then sure, I think the company should provide that opportunity for their internal employees. If none fit the
Mhm.
bill, okay, perhaps I think the company should look externally.
I also want to
Uh,
weigh in on something. You see, a lot of individual contributors, right? They can excel in their own job. Yeah. But once you promote them to a manager per se, now you give them a team, some of them actually crash and burn. Yeah.
Yeah, yes, you're right.
So
Right.
I think you guys know that I'm a huge advocate of training. So like what kind of training can actually help all these people? Yeah. Should they be trained before they take over the role, or should they take over the role then be trained?
Hey, maybe the company can start small first. Okay, maybe can explore project work. Maybe can have this person to work together in a team, in a small team. Okay, start from there first. See how it goes. Then you get feedback from everyone. Yeah, you see whether the project can be completed successfully.
it's like trial and error.
Because leadership comes from within. How you lead a team comes from within. If if this person is all about himself or herself, okay, it's very difficult for that person to manage the team.
Okay,
Because
now
you
based on
have
your
to
experience,
think, as a manager, you have to think of a big,
Ryan,
sorry.
based on your experience, usually business owner like to employ people that is alike, which means that more or less don't behave like owner or think like an owner, so that they can easy management, correct? Not? However, we realize that business owner usually, especially for SME, they are the ceiling of the company. So if to grow and expand with the existing manpower or force they are having, probably they will still be required external recruitment in order to expand the company. Am I right to say that?
Well, if okay, because employment agencies okay would have the database of candidates, so it's usually faster to recruit okay, by engaging an employment agency.
Okay, okay. So you do agree that the behavior of most SME probably will get stuck mainly because they like to employ someone who have the same like-minded as the business owner.
I would say maybe the values are aligned with what the company is advocating to, looking for such candidates.
You know, the reason why I was asking this because I do training for companies, especially their sales force. I have this funny feeling when I first step into the company that wow, how the team dress, the sales team dress, is almost similar to how the boss dress, and how they present themselves is like how their boss present himself in front of the client. So it seems like oh,
Mm-hmm.
everything is like what the boss do we follow, you know, and it happen almost everywhere that I actually come across. So that's why that prompt me into thinking that either the boss employ people like or same like him or behave like him or her, or alternatively, this candidate being employed have a very weak character that they probably blend in easily to the so-called culture of the company. What do you think?
It's, so on that, I use assessments on personality. I evaluate their personalities. So I'm an advocate for big fights. So I use that to find out okay how everyone's personality is. Okay, on that, okay, we will then be able to find out okay whether it's everyone suitable at what they are doing. Mm.
Hmm. Now, I read kind of number of books, right? And they actually highlight this point, which I quite agree on, which is that the environment in a matter of fact will affect the person character on how they behave, and that in terms of the performance. So if you put this person on another platform or another company, the result will be very much different. Correct? So I think
Okay.
that probably will be one of the HRO in how to help this potential individual to grow before they get into the culture fix, right, in a way where they will become blend into the company rather than, having exceptional performance.
Okay, so when we are able to find out where this person is at the 9-box grid, okay, we will then be able to customize strategies, okay, for that person to grow. Like for example, if we can then place that employee with a few projects, how the ma- how the person lead or complete the project, okay, can lead to his or her career. How 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 he or she can shape their career to be. Yeah. So there are different strategies to develop such talents.
So I think for Ryan, you actually utilize a very data-driven approach, right? Yeah, at the very
Yes.
beginning stage
Yeah.
of onboarding the candidate, based on your nine grid thing, based on your big five. So just curious now, for a potential candidate that is entering a company per se, how many questions they need to attempt for big five as well as the nine grid?
So like I said, I have different assessments. Yeah. To evaluate a candidate, or to evaluate an employee. So there there can be many assessments. There can be some scenario-based questions, okay, in order to find out how that person is. So it's not about the number of questions. Okay, for example, in Amazon, I think they have 7 or 9 stages of interviews. Mm. Yeah, yeah,
Seven
yeah,
or nine stages of interview.
yeah, 7 to 9. Yes,
Serious? Okay.
yeah. So each stage can have quite a number of questions. So it doesn't really matter how many questions there is. It's about how effective the assessments are.
Now, based on your HR expertise, would there be any advice that you'd like to share with our audience? How to be the so-called elite that will be captured the management attention? Aside from performance, I
So
know performance is sometimes can be quite a big scope of definition sometimes at time because you can talk about performance in numbers, performance in attitude, and so on.
mm, can you rephrase the question again?
Okay. Okay, to make it easier, how does an individual able to outshine in order to get promoted or realized by the upper management?
Okay. So firstly, whatever you are assigned to, okay, whatever task or project you are assigned to, okay, you will definitely have to complete it. Okay. But you also have to complete it with flying colors. Okay. If you are tasked to manage people, do it with an open heart. Okay. Don't just think about yourself. Okay. Think for others when you are a manager. Do not, when you're a manager, do not act like a sole contributor. Because if the team fails, you will fail. Because it will be on you when you are the manager.
You know, there's this saying, you say that if you are an executive, you must think like a manager. If you are a manager, you must think like a general manager. If you are a general manager, you must think like a CEO.
Yeah, that's good. That's good because it helps you to set a certain level that you can aspire to be, that you can be.
Now, when I say this that time, there's another question that just popped up to me. He said that, Ben, if I'm not in a position of manager, how will you expect me to think like a manager?
Mhm. But you have to think like one first, right? So you need to have some leadership qualities.
Hmm. Yes, I
Yeah.
totally agree. That's where I think Joe, your expertise come in.
Yes, yes, yes.
But the thing is that there are people who just refuse to take up the role of managers, right? So for this type of people, we tend not to
But there's
force
nothing
them into
wrong.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong. If one doesn't want to be a manager, it's nothing wrong. It's okay. I have a very good friend. She's a banking lawyer. So I've known her for quite a number of years. All along, she doesn't want to be she doesn't want to be a manager. She's very, very good at what she's doing. Okay. She was a divisional director, yeah, yeah, in a bank. Okay. But lately she told me she has changed. She may want to be a manager. You want to move to that path. So nothing wrong. So it's really about what one wants.
Hey Ryan, I heard that you actually wrote a books. Mind share you ask like what is it all about?
Okay, so it's about HR risk. Okay, I believe the book can help business owners to understand more about what HR is really doing. Okay, by understanding all this, okay, uh, the reader can prep the company, okay, in the event that, say for example, you may be able to, sorry, you may be able to avoid compliance risk and understand what HR can do for the company. That's
Oh,
what the book is about.
do you mind to share the title of the book?
Give me a minute. Can't really remember.
You're writing a book. You don't remember the title.
Yeah, not because I've been writing. I have not been really remembering the title of the book. But yeah,
Interesting. Maybe just a very quick follow-up question. You're in the process of writing it, right? So when can we expect it to be published?
yeah, I think in the next 1 to 2 years time,
Oh, this is a long
we are
project.
still we yeah. Because I'm writing this with another HR practitioner. Yeah, so we have completed 2 or 3 chapters.
Okay.
So yeah, so that will take some time.
How many chapters are we expecting in that book?
I think around 13 chapters.
13
Yeah.
chapters. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So
So
two
the
2 years now.
Yep. So the title of the book is Navigating HR Risk, the easy path that's harder than you think.
Mm,
Well, come
interesting.
again. Easy path harder than you think.
Yep.
Very, very, very interesting statement. You'd like to elaborate slightly more on this simple statement?
Okay. Uh, so earlier I mentioned that people's common perception of HR is only about payroll and recruitment. But HR is so much more than that. It's way more than that. So that's why we would like readers to understand what HR is really about. It's not just about payroll and recruitment.
Okay, cool. Now, Ryan, that's something I think a lot of audience would like to know. Let's say if especially fresh grad, they want to go into a HR role. What are the potential career advancement do you think that they can expect from this?
Okay, so I started out from doing payroll. That was like 15 years ago. Yeah. So why I did payroll back then? Okay, payroll is nothing sexy. Okay, it's very, very unappealing. Okay, but why I chose that is because I want to understand the Employment Act. I want to know what the legislation is all about. So when you understand the laws, you will be better placed at advising business owners. Yeah, how to avoid pitfalls. From there, how do you grow from there? So that's so I would advise the young graduates to firstly understand the law.
So with AI being the trend and the common topic right now, so in your personal views, how do you think AI will affect the HR industry?
For it for A okay, so firstly AI can be wrong, right?
If you train it well,
Yeah. If you train it well, maybe yes. But H when it comes to HR is about people. So ultimately, people would like to communicate with people. They wouldn't want to communicate with a computer, with technology. So if HR provides that level of human interaction that AI cannot support. Yeah. AI can support the HR by uh, by simplifying the administrative roles. Yeah, but it will never be able to replace human engagement or human interactions.
Now, let's
So
look
for
looking forward. Now, we realize that there are a lot of hybrid worker these days. Does that also affect how HR going to work and operate?
For hybrid workers who work from home.
Mm.
Well, whenever there is for example, whenever there is a human issue or human matter, okay, the employees will still want to talk to HR, no matter where they are. So it
Mm.
doesn't really matter to me that it doesn't really matter.
Now, when we talk about human interaction, this is a very common topic that we like to discuss almost with our guests, which is that we realize that, okay, probably baby boomer, Gen X, they are able to communicate easily. But we talk about the millennium especially, probably the preference of communication probably through text or even email. Is that the case
Mhm.
these days for millennium?
Yeah, yes. Because social media or messaging platforms provide a safe avenue, okay, to communicate with people. But the thing is, you have when you talk to people, it you will be able to better understand one another. So that's something that's missing out if you constantly communicate via uh, messaging platforms.
Okay, taking this millennium as an example again, if a company business owner are in baby boomer and Gen X category, will you think that millennium can be quite hesitated to join this company?
Okay, the thing is, okay, firstly, okay, everyone has their own strengths and weaknesses. Can I say that?
Mhm,
Am I right to
mhm.
say that? Yeah.
mm.
So with I like to talk to Gen X and baby boomers. Why? Because they are experienced in their own ways. Yeah. Well,
And
sure.
which
So some
generation are you in?
huh, Gen Y, I think.
Okay, so you're millennial.
Yeah, yes. So I like to talk to such people because um they have a lot of experiences. Okay, which I think you cannot learn from the books. So
Now,
so I to what Ben's question is, I would encourage millennial to to try to adapt and communicate with every people, with everyone, everyone they face in the company. There's no need to avoid.
I actually talked to a couple of bosses and I realized that they are facing the same kind of challenges, especially when it comes to millennium. And the bosses itself, they are Gen X and beyond. So they find that it's very, very difficult to coach this millennium group. Then at the same time, that is a communication part that they are usually having challenge. Quote you a simple example. If you talk to one Gen X, they will probably give you the answer and reply, why is that so? Okay. But when you ask the question like, to millennium, you ask them like, hey, how is everything? They will look at you and say, okay, lor, kind of like that, and that's full stop. Nothing more. That's it. You won't know more about are they having any challenges they are facing right now on the job? Or do you need help? And so
At
on.
least they don't say that, boss, I will text you later.
You never know. The next thing that you will see at the board, oh gosh, tender, resignation tender.
All right. I
Okay,
don't have
but
any further
but
sorry.
mhm.
Okay.
Oh no. So I think so. Some people are introverts. Okay, so when you want to truly understand or be able to communicate with introverts, you have to build a that relationship with them. So, but the other thing is, okay, communication takes both hands to clap. So the other party, the introverts, will have to understand that they will have to open up as well, talk to people directly, face to face, not through messaging platforms.
So that will be
Quick
also a
question.
that will also be a HR role to help this millennium when in a company and help them how to adapt to the company where the senior manager, the business owner are belonging to baby boomer and Gen X.
Yeah, so like I said, HR wears many hats. So one of which is HR is a nanny, is a babysitter, or psychologist. Yeah, yeah. They are
I have a
rotary.
very I have a very quick
We,
question earlier. Follow-up
mm,
question. It's like, are you an introvert or extrovert?
I believe I'm an extrovert.
Okay.
Yep,
What about Ben?
yep.
I'm a introvert extrovert. Introvert on the inner, extrovert outside.
Introvert, introverted. I think it's called
In-
introverted
It's
extrovert.
it's
yeah.
ambivert. Lah.
That is saying like people like Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, they say that they are also introvert extrovert. They be forced to go at the front line, to expose themselves, to share, okay, what the idea and so on. But in the matter of fact, they are introvert. Same thing likewise, I actually met a couple of quite successful business owner. They are also introvert. But somehow, when you talk with them, you don't feel like, they're introvert. They look very much like extrovert. But somehow when you understand about, how they behave, how they actually live their lifestyle, it's pretty introvert. Like they read books, right? They constantly upgrade themselves. And the best thing of all is that individually, in the matter of fact, they don't talk much. Yeah. So it's definitely a kind of introvert kind of behavior, if you ask me. Yeah. So same thing like this, I gotta admit I'm an introvert. But somehow or rather, when it comes to presentations, I had to be an extrovert.
So you are trained to be an extrovert.
Hmm. Well, an introvert extrovert.
Ben has adapted. Ben has adapted to circumstances.
Thank,
Fantastic.
thank, 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 thank. But I really, really good sharing today, Ryan. I think this is something that's going to be very helpful to many you grad especially because these days I realize that not just company are having a lot of directions because of don't know how to handle the new employee, don't know how to communicate with them, but as well as those undergrad or people who are about to graduate, and they're equally lost of directions. Because I think this definitely going to help them to understand that the direction lost mainly also because of worried entering a company where they may not be able to accustom to the kind of different era of management. Yes. But if you're going to join a new company that is, run by very young people, that can be another concern unless they are financially very strong. So if not, based on our experience, we realize that out of 10 companies that we actually come across, about 9.5 actually fail, right, within 3 years or 1 year.
Mhm.
The reason being because why 9.5? Because the 0.5 got a lot of money to burn. So that that one is something
Mm.
that they can still sustain. If not, for most they are unable to persist and reach the required achievement or goal they are looking towards for. That's why we hope that this podcast itself benefit the audience and I hope they can step forward, right, properly can find some opportunity to collaborate with Ryan from Kairos instead of coming out on their own and after hitting a couple of wall and bleeding here and there and end up nowhere.
Mm.
So we just hope that this is definitely going to help. But at the same time, we also hope that SME, MNC will be acquire your service to help to groom their manpower internally.
So Ryan, how do people reach you then?
Well, usually through referral.
But
Yep.
in this channel, it's like for our listeners, how do they want to reach out to you?
Uh, well, from my website, there's a direct contact number. Yep. Can reach out to
Cool.
me via WhatsApp.
All right, great. All right, thank you, Ryan, very much for your generous sharing. Very much appreciated. And for all our listeners out there, as usual, in order not to miss any of the episodes moving forward, please subscribe to our channel. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Joe.
Thank
Thanks, Ben.
you.
Thanks for the opportunity. Yep. Bye.
Sure.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.